There is no secret to the nutrition strategies for a hybrid athlete. However, there are some essential strategies that can you implement to enhance performance and maximize your recovery. And that's what I'm going to talk about in today's video. And the first thing I want to talk about is the importance of proper fueling. When I first started training like a hybrid athlete and trying to properly fuel for my training, I definitely messed it up and wasn't effective. In the beginning, I didn't make it through my workouts with sustained energy because I didn't properly fuel throughout the day and around the workouts. That means if you experience any of these symptoms, you're probably underperforming because you're under fueling and ultimately you're not recovering well. Lots of people, they are afraid of sodium, but you're an athlete. You need electrolytes because water alone is not going to hydrate you. I'm sure you hear people talking about calories is the most important, and others are saying actually the food source is the most important. Calories are irrelevant. Well, today we're talking about what you actually should focus on. Here's the thing, if you just focus on the quality of food and not the calories and thinking you can go through a marathon prep or a hybrid athlete training split with just lean meats and salads, you are quickly going to realize that you are burning out, you're not completing your trainings as effective as they could be, and you're not recovering as well for the next training blocks. That's why calories are king. The truth is they both matter. Calories will always be king, but the quality of food sourcing are just as important. That's why I like to use the 80-20 principle. 80% of what I'm consuming is whole, organic and non-processed food. And the other 20 is I'm having fun. I'm out with friends, I'm out with family, I'm having a beer, a burger or a kebab. Now, if I'm not in a marathon prep, I prefer to consume more dietary fats and less carbs. However, if I am in a marathon prep like I am right now, I like to increase my carbs and decrease my dietary fats. So here's the baseline and variety to get started. You can take this, apply it into your diet and manipulate the macronutrients based on your own preferences. For me, I like to consume 2 grams of proteins per kilogram of body weight. That means, for example, very simple, my weight sits around 90 kilograms, so I consume 180 grams of proteins per day. For the fats, I like to keep it as 25% of my daily calorie intake. I'm sitting at around 3,000 to 3,500 calories per day. That equals around 70 to 85 grams of fat. And the rest of this is carbs, which is sitting at around 400 to 500 grams. That is the baseline of my diet, and based on what I'm training for, I am playing around with the intake. Now, what you can see here in front is pretty much 80 to 90% of what I'm consuming on a daily basis. We've got meats, chicken, ground beef and salmon. Then in terms of vegetables, I use either broccoli, Brussels sprouts or asparagus. Then water, probably 3 to 4 liters a day at the minimum. A bit of bread. I also only cook with olive oil. For carb sources, I've got pasta, I've got oats and I've got rice. Then obviously coffee, self-explaining. Then fruits, I'm having either an orange or a kiwi in the morning or in the evening, depends on how I feel like. Sweet potatoes and bananas, also almost on a daily basis. Then I think you already know that I'm a big fan of beetroot juice. I like to consume this together with my creatine, usually as a post-workout. And then in terms of my supplements, I'm using whey protein. I'm not consuming it every day. Usually I do cover my intake with the food that I'm consuming. Then I've got electrolytes for sweaty sessions, and I've got omega-3 for the heart health, brain function. There's plenty of benefits. And obviously eggs, I eat 4 eggs every morning. That is non-negotiable for me. But with pretty much these ingredients, this makes up almost my entire diet. Obviously, I do switch things up every now and then, but they stay fairly consistent, and it doesn't even have to be expensive. And the last thing I want to talk about is calories and macros. For the macros, we've got proteins, carbs, and fats. Proteins and carbs provide 4 calories per gram, and fats provide 9 calories per gram, which means that fats are more calorically dense than proteins and carbs. And going back to calories, calories are a measurement of energy. Depending on whether you want to lose weight, gain weight, or maintain weight or muscle mass, you are either in a surplus or a deficit. The best way to find out is to log in your meals and anything you eat on a daily basis for preferably 7 days or 2 weeks. This can be done either manually, written down, or you can use apps such as MyFitnessPal, where you can log in your meals and it will tell you the profile of those meals. And by doing that over a period of a week, let's say, by logging in all the foods that you have consumed, you can see what the average calorie amount has been on a daily basis. And what you also should do simultaneously is weighing yourself. Weigh yourself in the beginning and in the end, and see if you have gained, lost, or maintained muscle mass / weight. And by doing that, you can find out if your daily calorie intake is at a maintenance level, at a surplus level, or at a deficit level. And that gives you a good overview of not only the calorie profile, but also of the macro profile. Now, with all of that being said, I hope this video helped you a little bit by providing a good overview of not only calories, but also the macros, the 80-20 principle, and much more. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.